light on because it's a little bit dark out. But that is the joys of working an event. So yeah, so I just wanted to give you a little bit of a rundown, kind of my opinion on things with the World Cup. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to you guys for just giving me feedback on this. I don't mind doing these. They're kind of fun to do, kind of cool to do. So, I'm completely fine keeping doing vlogs. Whenever there's an event or going to practice or something like that. And I know that you guys wanted these videos to be longer. So I'm trying. A lot of it is once I get to the booth, it's kind of nonstop. It'll be one thing after another. Working at the Exalt booth, so it'll be, if it's not helping out a customer, it might be restocking, or it might be assisting the owner of the company with something, or something like that. But I am able to take out my camera periodically, and I am going to be getting some breakdown stuff of the new products from Exalt, maybe a couple other companies if I can. So I'll do as much as possible, because it really is like, let's see, it's a little after 7. We open up the booth at 8, and then it's nonstop until about like 7 o'clock or 8 again. So between that and my games, like I said, I try to get everything up. I actually stay up kind of late putting these up for you guys. So I thank you that you appreciate them, and they seem to be doing pretty well, or being received pretty well. So I appreciate that. But yeah, so about the NXL. So this venue has been beautiful. I know that there was one field, and luckily I'm not playing on that field, I'll be honest. But they actually had, I guess, ditches that they had to fill in with dirt. So the downside with that is it's like on the way to a bunker and all that. So and it kind of goes across the whole field and then across the other side of the field. So I guess it's not the worst thing, because it's the same on both sides. But yeah, that can be kind of annoying. Unfortunately, it's not like soccer or football where that's the only thing that's being played there. So sometimes the playing conditions cannot be the best. But the good thing is that's really the only field that I think is the issue. All the other ones, the one that I played on was beautiful. So I think it's been great. The weather's been awesome. Florida has been actually nice to us paintballers this year's World Cup. There was actually a year that I remember, it was a couple years back, but people were like passing out left and right, and they weren't, yeah, it was just super hot. I think that was the year that, if you guys remember, Thomas Taylor, got done with a point and like basically collapsed in the pit, because he was playing super tough, but then also, he was overheated, and, there's only so much that you can do, I guess. So, when you're having to run back to back. This is actually my first time playing this format of X-Ball, which it can be tough. The turnaround time, sometimes you get a little bit longer of a break, depending on if the team before you, because of the split deck format, you'll play your match, then there's a minute for the other team to get on, and then they play, and then you have a minute. So sometimes it can take a little bit longer. I mean, we're running like a skeleton crew of like 6 or 7 guys, so it's just a matter of turning the points. Sometimes it's been a little bit close, but it's just constant. I mean, that's I like it. I like it like that. So it's tough, but I like the format. I think it's great. The only downside of things, I did have an issue with some of the refs on our field. Some of them, and I don't want to bash the refs because reffing is a really tough job. So I don't want it to be that way. But it just sucks when that's kind of like a deciding factor in the game, or you know, just whatever. So there was one ref that he just wasn't the best, and that's the only downside of playing with anything below like semi-pro or pro, is that they put the best refs that they have on those fields, but with the other fields, it's kind of like whoever signed up to go do stuff. So again, I don't want it to be that I'm bashing the refs, but at the same time, there was one guy that he called a penalty on us for no reason. They weren't keeping the field up to par. There was one point where I ran snake off break, got in clean, everything was fine. I'm sitting behind the big race bunker, so I'm able to sit up in it fine. And that was deflated a little bit. The beam, the whole snake side, I think, was kind of deflated. So when they were shooting paint in, there was a ball that hit the deflated beam, and it bounced off and hit me, which is still a hit, but if that beam was inflated, I don't think that would have happened. So after the game, I did tell them that they need to blow that up. So afterwards, I did see that they did blow it up real quick. So that's good that they were able to do that. And I understand the refs are working hard. So again, I don't want it to be that I'm bashing them or anything like that. It just sucks when you get a bad call, or things aren't going exactly the way that you need them to. One of them was being kind of crazy about like, oh, your barrel needs to be exactly, you know, pushed into the starting gate. When most refs, as long as you have the barrel back, and if it's an inch off, it's not going to make a huge difference with playing and all that. So on one side of the field, we had to make sure that we were like kind of pushing into the start box basically, so that it was tagged up, and he was literally sitting there watching to see if it was tagged up. And the other side of the field, you know, we could play normal, honestly, is what it was. So, again, I'm not bashing the refs, because I do appreciate them doing this. I know they don't get paid a whole lot. It's not something that I would volunteer to do, to be honest. I got dragged into reffing one time, and I just really didn't want to do it. It was something that somebody needed help with, so I was able to go and do that. But the other thing, I wish that their compressors were running a little bit better. I did have a couple games where it was only filling up to 4,000, which is usually going to be enough, but I'd rather have that full 4,500 fill, so that I know for sure that I can get out all the paint that I would need to, if I need to. I was running out there with 7 pods some games, and or actually most of the games it was 7 pods and just shooting. So as a player, I would appreciate if their compressors were running hotter, but not hotter, but that they were running more consistent. And sorry about the motorcycle in front of me. So I wish that was a little bit different. And again, this is kind of nitpicking. The event's been great. They actually have water at the event for the players, which is awesome. Like that's really big. And then there's a cool thing when you sign in, that you get this little water pouch thing that you can clip onto your bag. I didn't pick one up, but I think that you can grab those as a player. It's just a cool thing that they do extra that I appreciate. Luckily at the booth, we have water for all the employees, so I can still have stuff there. But other than that, I mean, the event's been great. Some of the paint was kind of and I'm not going to say what company it is. I'm not going to say anything like that. We are probably going to be switching over to a different company today for our matches, because there was a match where the guys were saying, yeah, you were bouncing us off the break. Once you got closer, they were breaking, but off the break, I mean, if we can go up a body or two, that changes the whole game. So it's not encouraging to hear that we were bouncing guys, and that, you know, I mean, that would have changed the game. That would have been something that could have been a deciding factor for that first match. The second match, they just flat out beat us, honestly. So I can't really complain about that. They just played a lot better than we did. But yeah, I mean, I really appreciate the guys that let me jump on for this event. It's been fun. I mean, the first match we did lose, but it was close, and then the other one, like I said, they just beat us flat out. So it's World Cup. I mean, I'm just having fun playing paintball, and of course, I wish that we would have done better, but nothing you can do about it. Just go out, and it's still paintball. So. And that's another thing that I like about this format, is that it's not a race to. It's only if you go up 5 points in Division 2. If you're leading by 5 points, then the game is over. It's just a mercy rule. But I mean, we played more points than that on the first match, and you know, it was just I don't know. It's fun. Like I just like being able to go out there and play a whole bunch. And yeah, so but yeah, like I said in the last video, today's a new day, so just gonna go out there and play hard. And going 2-2 is tough, that you're kind of on the bubble, so there might be a chance that we can move on. If not, I mean, it's still World Cup, man. Like, I'm still gonna have fun with it. I'm still gonna go and you know, just have a great time playing paintball today, and have a fun time over the weekend. You know, even though it's working, it's still being around paintball and just having fun with that. But when you go 2-2, it can be kind of tough to move on, just because it comes down to like point margins, and there's a couple things that have to line up with the teams in your bracket and all that. So I hope for the best, but I understand too that there's a chance that we might be like a couple seeding placements out of that. So whatever, it's paintball. Like I said, just have fun with it. And yeah, let's see, is there anything else? Yeah, there is something else. They were testing out the X500, which they've been doing in the Millennium series. Basically, you have a hopper and 2 pods. It roughly equals 500 balls. So I guess it's, yeah, right around 500. And that's what you have on the field. So per player, you can have 2 pods and a hopper. I think once you're on the field, you can give pods to other players. So if you have a back guy or something that you want him just to be dumping paint into a lane to stop movement for certain players, then you're able to do that. Yeah, they tested it out yesterday. Apparently Dynasty just ran through everybody. Not that that's saying a lot, honestly. I saw somebody say, like, oh, Dynasty, you know, only drops 1 point and goes 7, it was like 7-0, 7-0, and 8-1 for their games. As much as I love Dynasty, I mean, they're a great team to watch. Tyler Harmon's hilarious. I played with Spica when he was with the Palm Beach Vipers. I was with that organization there, so I got to practice against him, and, you know, he's a great guy. And I mean, really, all those guys they're fantastic paintball players. It's a format that's being tested, and it was on the layout. So I don't feel that a lot of teams are going to be showing their best look, and I don't think that they're necessarily going to be going 100% when they're playing today. Like, today is the teams' their first matches. So because I think I'm trying to remember who it was. It was Dynasty, AC Dallas, X Factor. I think Heat was probably in there. Was it just 4 teams? I think it was 6 teams. So I think there were some other teams. Maybe Infamous was in there. But regardless, I really don't think it's showing a whole lot that that Dynasty ran through people. Because as competitive as a lot of guys can be, I know in the back of their minds they were probably thinking, well, this is just a format thing, and maybe they were even just trying, like, hey, I just want to see if I can make this spot, or maybe I'm trying this other thing. So I mean, the people that win in that, it's kind of like but my opinion on X500, I'm kind of in the middle about it, because I think it'd be good just for the fact of making it cheaper. Because if like I said, I was going out with 7 pods, so I don't know how many I was shooting. Kind of just depended on the point and where I went. Because I think I went with 7 pods at one point and ended up playing the snake because there was an opening for me to go in there, so I'm gonna go. But yeah, so you're not gonna be shooting 7 pods in the snake. But with 2 pods and a hopper, it's again, yeah, it's gonna make things cheaper. But honestly, I kind of feel like they should just go with 4 pods per player if you're gonna do a limited paint format. I think 4 pods is a decent amount per player, and if you can arrange on the field, when you walk on, that you have some other whatever, then that works. So I'm sorry. Let me reword that. You can basically, my goodness, I'm sorry, it's early. I had to get up early and editing the videos and working all day yesterday and playing. My brain is kind of still in Wednesday, I think. But yeah, so okay, we'll go back to it. I kind of feel like 4 pods per player is a good amount, and the reason being is that I've played, where I go out with like 7 pods, 8 pods, whatever. Sometimes you don't shoot all those, sometimes you do, but if I kind of feel like 4 pods is just, and this is just my opinion, I don't even know if there's really a reason, I just feel like 4 pods is a good amount per player to have. 2 pods and a hopper, I don't know how they're going to regulate it with, like Virtue has those other pods that hold more. What about the teams that maybe don't have the, what if you have an extended loader? I know the R2 you can change on the fly. I don't know how they're going to regulate all that. I don't know if they're going to have somebody in the pit to watch. I kind of feel like that's unnecessary. So if it was, just a hopper and 4 pods, kind of feel like that's the a good amount. But I'd be curious to see what the other guys think. Maybe today I can try to get some of the interviews from some of the guys that played. Grayson might be able to sit down and talk a little bit, just see what they think. Because ultimately I didn't play with the 2 pods. Although it was funny that we kind of did play that. Actually, I think we had 3 pods. That's what I had. And I was running out of air because when we had practice the first weekend, it was only filling up to like 2,000, or like a little over 2,000. So as much as I love my Lux, they're not the most air efficient. So I was having issues with air efficiency, so I wasn't carrying out 6 pods, 7 pods. I was only going out with like 2 or 3. So I was kind of playing the X500 format, and it worked. I mean, it definitely pushes you to be aggressive. You have to conserve your paint and figure out what you're gonna do and all that. So I didn't think it was bad. I like really aggressive play, but I also understand the strategy of having somebody just lock down a lane. I mean, that happened to me yesterday where I got out to a bunker and they literally just had 2 guys on, not 2 guys, but it was 2 guys on either side of me, so it was 1 on each side. That's what I was trying to say. Again, my brain is in Wednesday right now, I think, so they just had me locked in that way, and eventually one of them was able to pinch me out and push me because I was trying to stay tight. I guess I wasn't tight enough though, because one of my pods that was sticking out, one of the guys clipped. So yeah, So maybe if I can, I'll try to get an interview with the guys to see what they think about the X500. Just get their opinion on it. And it's great that they're having the players chime in, you know, have a couple different teams that are going to go in and say, okay, well, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. That kind of stuff is good. Yeah, guys, I appreciate that these videos have been well received and that you guys have been liking them. My voice is probably going to be like slowly going over the weekend. Yeah, I really appreciate it, guys, and I'll keep doing these. You know, whenever, I don't know if you want practice videos with a vlog of, you know, stuff like that. I don't know. Oh, the other thing I did want to mention before I turn off the camera, and then, you know, whenever I get to Cup, if I can't do some other videos, I will, is why I'm not doing filming on the field at Cup. The big thing is, at an event, I don't want to have anything extra that somebody can shoot. For practice and all that, it's not a huge deal, you know, if it gets shot or whatever, because it's practice. But when it's an event, I don't want to have any of those extra little things that could go wrong. So basically, you know, just having that, even though it's not a big camera, I've used the R7 Prime X from I'm sorry, yeah, the R7 Replay XD Prime X. That's what it is. Again, yeah, my brain's in Wednesday right now. Basically, like I said, at practice, I'm fine doing that. But at an event, that little bit of extra whatever, I don't want to have there, because that can be the deciding point of me staying tight enough to shoot somebody, or, you know, me being able to, I mean, it's just an extra thing to get shot, that if I can do without it, I will. So I'm sorry for that, but at the same time, I'm sure that you guys understand that, you know, when tournament time comes, you're serious. So thank you in advance for understanding that. But getting over to Cup, and I guess I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, so just a little recap before I take my gear off and change back, get back to work. So today was a lot better. We won both of our games today, so that was good. And we switched over to a different paint company. Shot a whole lot better. It was breaking, so we ended up winning both of our games today. So we had an issue yesterday with our paint bouncing, like I had mentioned before. And I wanted to show off a cool thing. You guys know that I work with Mike's Paintball with the channel. You know, we have a partnership going on, and they can get some really sweet custom spires. And this is one of them that I got, where it's a wood grain. So it looks like a wood grain on there. It's really, really sick. Garrett from Mike's Paintball really hooked it up. So if you call them up, you can ask them about this. I'm not sure about the pricing, but I know that he'll give you the best one if you say that you're with How to Play Paintball. But I gotta get back to work, so I'll see you guys later.